Good evening and welcome to the Cabarrus County Board of Education's business meeting for Monday, November the 8th, 2021. The board has just reconvened in open session. We have been in closed session. The meeting has been called to order, and I would ask that all of you join us in a moment of silence for Osdani Hernandez Zamora, a Cabarrus County School student that we lost a couple of weeks ago, and our thoughts and prayers go out with his family. Please join us. Thank you. We will say good evening to our viewing audience, and with that we will begin with our opening ceremony, which is our 5.01 presentations of colors. If you could please stand.
Presenting tonight's colors are cadets from the Air Force JROTC program at Central Cabarrus High School. Personnel includes Cadet Captain Matthew Brinkley, Cadet Major Claudia Pedroza, Cadet Major Jesse Lantigua, and Cadet Technical Sergeant Randy Walker.
Color guard, attention. Carry, colors. Forward, arch. Color guard, halt. Left, haste. Freeze stand, colors. Forward, arch. Color guard, halt.
Honoring America Tonight with the playing of our national anthem are members of the West Cabarrus High School Band. Their personnel includes Nicole Gerald, Thatcher Monroe, Katie Sassine, Ellie Brashear, Caleb Wells, Hayden Abercrombie, Christian Farrar, and Brian Morales Francisco. The director of the West Cabarrus Band program is Miss Emily McNeil. Thank you.
Okay, we will move to items under 6.01, setting the agenda. May I have a motion that the November 8th, 2021 business meeting agenda be approved as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Blackwell.
Second.
A second by Ms. Adcock. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next, we will begin with our recognitions under 7.01, and we will start with our Impact Through Education Awards, and we will ask Mrs. Ronnie Boone to the podium. Good evening.
Tonight we will present Impact Through Education Awards to students and staff at W.R. Odell Elementary School and Hickory Ridge High School. The Impact Awards are sponsored by our friends at Equitable, and at this time I'd like to invite Mr. Leo Spardella from Equitable to join me up here at the front of the room. And Mr. Spardella, we just want to say thank you to Equitable for your continued support and sponsorship of the Impact Through Education Awards. We appreciate it and are thankful that you help us celebrate and recognize deserving students and staff. Now on to tonight's awards. We'll begin with W.R. Odell Elementary, and I'd like to invite Dr. Ward and any other members of her administrative team that are here to come forward. Just her tonight. You stand with Mr. Spardella. Pardon? Okay, all right. Our first honoree from Odell is Zachary Owens. Zachary, would you come forward with your family, please? Everybody come on in and stand together. Zachary Owens is a model of exceptional behavior at W.R. Odell Elementary School. He follows all school and classroom rules every day. Zach loves to participate and contribute ideas to class discussions. He pays attention in class and stays on task while he is working. He completes work in a timely manner, and he tries on all of his assignments even when the work is challenging. Zachary loves animals and likes to share fun facts about the animals that he reads about. He also loves learning about oceans. He recently completed a project on coral reefs, and as you can probably tell, science is his favorite subject. Zach is extremely encouraging to his classmates, and he's also a budding artist. He has his very own sketch pad filled with great drawings of, you guessed it, animals. His teacher, Ms. Harper, describes Zachary as one of the most polite young men that she has ever met. He has received compliments from other teachers about his polite manner, and you can always count on Zachary to do the right thing wherever he goes. Zachary is eager to help others in any way that he can in the classroom and throughout the school. Congratulations, Zachary. Your W.R. Odell School family is very proud of you.
Congratulations. Good job. Good job.
No.
Bring this down. Relax. Here we go. 1, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3.
Ms. Columbus? Yes. Our next honoree is Mrs. Wendy Columbus. Would Ms. Columbus and her family please come forward? Closer to Ms. Ward. Mrs. Wendy Columbus is a special education teacher at W.R. Odell Elementary School. She truly cares about her students and advocates for their needs and for them to be successful. She gives 110% of herself to her students every day. Mrs. Columbus's heart for her students doesn't stop beating when the dismissal bell rings. It lasts well into the afternoon and evening hours. She spends countless hours ensuring that her lessons meet the individual needs of her students. She provides multisensory lessons for her students, incorporating manipulatives and movement. She knows her students so well that she can provide personalized feedback, encouragement, and love so that they don't become overly frustrated. She has a natural skill for de-escalating and redirecting behaviors. Mrs. Columbus also provides fun learning experiences for her students. Every week she creates personal videos where students can see themselves on the screen and feel included. She has even included fun videos that feature our administrative and support team members with the goal of fostering positive interactions between the adults in the building and her students. Although her students face many challenges in their day-to-day lives, her high expectations for their learning and development never wavers. Her goal is for all her students to be able to function and communicate successfully in the school community. Mrs. Columbus, your Odell School family is proud to present you with this Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
And next we will have Ms. Melissa Knopp and her family. Please come forward. For the past 2 years, Ms. Melissa Knopp has served the Odell community as the school nurse. The school nurse position is fast-paced and multifaceted. Nurse Melissa moves seamlessly between her roles, always taking care to make everyone feel like they are her #1 priority. Her interactions with students are outstanding. She treats every student like one of her own children and gets down on their level to explain what's happening and allows them to ask questions. Nurse Melissa takes special care with the students who have severe illnesses, allergies, and students with disabilities, and always does her job with a full heart and soul. Nurse Melissa takes advantage of every opportunity to have positive and personal interactions with students and staff. Students leave the care room feeling safe and cared for. A school nurse does more than just provide first aid and administer medication. Nurse Melissa is very efficient in completing her many duties. She expertly keeps track of students' needs and is highly skilled in time management, setting priorities, and record keeping. She promotes wellness within the school community and advocates for students. As we continue our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, Nurse Melissa performs her duties gracefully and with integrity. She understands that her primary goal is to help keep everyone safe while also following her nursing guidelines. This is not always easy, as not everyone agrees with what needs to happen regarding quarantining, masking, distancing, and the like. Despite the challenges that COVID presents, Nurse Melissa's sunny disposition and positive attitude always shine through. She is the perfect fit for Odell Elementary. Dedicated, fun-loving, and caring. Everything that an Odell Dragon should be. Congratulations.
Mrs. Boone, can you key up, please?
I'm sorry. We're going to start with Hickory Ridge High School now. And our first honoree from Hickory Ridge is Justin Garrett. Will Justin and his family come forward? Stand right up here. and just squish together. Like everybody likes each other. Justin Garrett is a senior at Hickory Ridge High School. He is the senior class student body president. Justin is extremely kind and friendly and always willing to go the extra mile. Justin is described by his current and former teachers as a truly amazing human being and a joy to have in the classroom. He is a leader, intelligent, well-rounded, and grounded. He challenges himself and actively seeks new opportunities and experiences. He has the determination, maturity, and intelligence to succeed in any endeavor and always maintains a positive attitude. Justin excels academically, and he has taken many challenging courses in preparation for a rigorous post-secondary education. Justin has always expressed his love for academics and a drive to continually push himself to the next level. Justin plans to pursue degrees in political science and law. He dreams of working in government one day. In addition to his academic record, Justin has led and been involved in many clubs and charitable organizations, including the Hickory Ridge High School Student Council, Beta Club, Key Club, Leadership Team, Toys for Tots, and King of the Court. Justin's passion for all that he does is immeasurable and a true testament to his honest, hardworking, and trustworthy nature. He is a truly deserving recipient of the Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
Good job. Right here. Stan, let me get a picture of you with your class. Hang on just a little bit. Here we go. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Our next honoree is Kendall Jefferson. Would Kendall and her family please come forward? Kendall, Just stand with your administrator. Come close. There you go. Kendall is also a senior at Hickory Ridge High School. She's an eager learner and a serious student who has worked incredibly hard for her grades and accomplishments and has not shied away from any challenges. Kendall stands out as a top-ranking senior academically. Nevertheless, she has so much more to her credit, proving herself a well-rounded young woman. She is a talented athlete, leader, and school citizen. She's been a varsity runner on the school's track team since her freshman year and participates in multiple clubs at the school, including National Honor Society, Beta Club, and HOSA. One of Kendall's teachers shared that she is not only a fantastic student, but also an all-around awesome human being. She embodies the type of person you want around you. She is scholarly and shows focus in the classroom, but also has a softer side with charm and a great sense of humor. Kendall's sense of responsibility is one of her most enduring qualities. She has volunteered the past few years with Leah's Hopes and Dreams, a nonprofit that works to prevent incidents of homelessness within the community, and she's served as a volunteer on the Harrisburg Youth Council, planning and organizing community events. Kendall has been such a joy to have at Hickory Ridge High School, and her school family is excited to see what's in her future. Congratulations on receiving this Impact Through Education Award.
Congratulations. Good job.
Get a picture of you with your plaque. Gotcha.
Congratulations. Our next honoree is Ms. Christy Bentley. Come stand right here. Just a little bit closer together. Yep, that way, yep. Awesome. Christy Bentley is a National Board Certified math teacher at Hickory Ridge High School. She's been teaching math in North Carolina for 21 years, and this is her 8th year in Cabarrus County Schools. She's also taught in Wake County and in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. In addition to teaching, she's the math department chair, the PLC lead for Math 1 and 2, and she serves as a mentor to a beginning teacher. Hickory Ridge High School is proud to present Christy Bentley with this Impact Through Education Award. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
I just need you right here real quick. A picture of you with your plaque. Gotcha.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And our final honoree of the evening is Ms. Lisa Ryan. Oh, she couldn't? Oh, okay. So, what is somebody accepting the award on her behalf? Okay. All right. So this is our Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Dr. Bish. I didn't want to read about the wrong person.
Okay, just for the viewing audience, so everyone will know what's going on in the room, we have moved to 7.02 for the Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month, and we have Dr. Marion Bish and Dr. Kopicki to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Kopicki. It's good to see everyone and those that are joining us on live stream. It's always a pleasure to come here each month and to introduce our Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month for November this time. As always, we are very thankful and grateful to Mr. Tim Vaughn and Hilbish Ford for their generosity and sponsorship. Mr. Vaughn is not with us this evening. Our Teacher of the Month for Hilbish Ford for November is Cassie Reams, and I'd like to invite her to stand here and hear an amazing testimony to her work. Miss Reams is a kindergarten teacher at W. Irvin Elementary, and she was nominated by a parent who wrote this. At the beginning of the school year, I had reservations about my daughter starting school. She was struggling with her ABCs, and I was worried she would be behind starting out. These worries quickly faded with Miss Reams. In less than 2 months, she had my daughter fully up to speed and gaining strides. Miss Reams is a kind leader who calls her students friends. As a parent, I'm confident that my daughter is getting the best possible education. And I am so happy and proud that she's been blessed to have such a fine educator for her very first school experience. My daughter's future looks bright, and it's due in part to the outstanding education provided by Cassie Reams. Ms. Reams, congratulations on your selection as Cabarrus County Schools Hilbish Ford Teacher of the Month, and thank you for all you do to make the first school experience for education enriching and enjoyable for the students and their families. Thank you for being a teacher.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you for all you do. And congratulations to all. We will move now to items under 8.01, the approval of the minutes. Board members, do I have any comments, questions, or corrections noted to any of our minutes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes for the open session meetings for October 11th, 2021, and then October the 18th, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Blackwell, a second by Mr. Walter. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Now we will move to items under 9.01, which are our guest speakers. In accordance with Board Policy 2310, a part of each business meeting will be set aside for citizens to address the board through public comment. Each speaker will receive 3 minutes to present comments. An individual speaking on behalf of a group may be allowed to speak for 5 minutes at the discretion of the board chair. Speakers may sign up with the board clerk via email at boardclerk@cabarrus.k12.nc.us or in person no later than 12 p.m. noon the day of the regularly scheduled monthly business meeting. Speakers must provide contact information, including their name, group name if applicable, relationship to Cabarrus County Schools, address and phone number, and list the general education-related topic of their presentation for the board minutes. During the public comment period, the board chair will recognize speakers in the order in which they signed in or emailed. Substitute speakers will not be permitted, and speakers may not donate any portion of their time to another speaker. If a speaker is unable to present all of his or her information within the specified time limit, the speaker may provide the board with the additional information in written form. If an unusually large number of people request to speak, a majority of the board may decide to reduce the time for each individual or to require the designation of a spokesperson for each group of persons supporting or opposing the same positions. At any time, the board may establish additional procedures to ensure that public comment sessions proceed in an efficient and orderly manner. The board chair will read or distribute a general statement at the beginning of the public comment period outlining the acceptable procedures. In consultation with the board attorney, the board chair may prepare additional guidelines consistent with this policy. Statements reasonably perceived to be disruptive or imminently threatening to the orderly operation of the meeting shall not be permitted. Any limitation on public comments shall be viewpoint neutral. The board chair will have the authority to rule the speaker out of order. A person who willfully interrupts, disturbs, or disrupts an official meeting and who, upon being directed to leave the meeting by the board chair, willfully refuses to leave the meeting is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor pursuant to General Statute 143-318-17. That is an official comment that has to be read prior to each public meeting session at public comment. And with that, I will begin with speaker number 1, Danielle Strickland. Good evening. Hi. If you will just key the mic, and you are ready to start.
Thank you. Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Danielle Strickland. I have 2 children in Cabarrus County Schools, and I'm here tonight to request a revisitation of the mask optional vote from late October. The bottom line is that things have been going really well since the start of the school year. And all parents, regardless of viewpoint, vaccination status, or political leaning, want their kids to be able to stay in school. When my kids left for school October 26th under the new mask policy, I reminded them that they will continue to mask just as they have been all year. What I did not tell them was that it wouldn't really matter because some of their friends and possibly some teachers and administrators will not be masked. Those first days of the new ruling, most kids were still in masks, according to my kids. I was thrilled, but it was short-lived. Each day, there have been more and more kids unmasked. There's tremendous social pressure around this. Kids are not going to stand up to it, and they know teachers cannot make them, regardless of what their parents told them to do. From the teacher perspective, they can best educate their students when everyone is sitting in their desks masked. Think about group work. Think about when half the class is quarantined. Everything changes. We have exceptional teachers in Cabarrus County, and we need to keep them safe and allow them to do their jobs to the best of their ability. With this change, you are weakening their effectiveness and draining their energy when you force them to adjust their approach while also balancing accommodations for those who can't be in school. It struck me when I was told I had to remain in my vehicle tonight until I was invited inside because of social distancing guidelines. Isn't it ironic? You have more guidelines in place for your meeting tonight than for the children and teachers that you are to protect. My children are getting their first dose of the vaccine this Saturday. and that means they'll be fully vaccinated before Christmas, which is right around the corner. I have loved seeing so many friends post pictures of their kids getting vaccinated these past few days. So I ask, what would be the harm in holding out just a little bit longer? In a perfect world, you would vote to go back to required masks for the rest of the school year to keep everybody in school. At the very least, let's just get to January or February so every family can make the best decision for their children. You are the school board. You have a tremendous responsibility, and I ask that you reconsider this vote. I know we all want to move on. I absolutely want to move on, but we can't quite yet, and we are so close. Please do not set us back when we have all the resources to move forward. We just need a little bit more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 2, Robert Kern. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good. You are keyed and you are ready to start.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the school board and Mr. Superintendent. My name is Robert Kern, and my son Matthew attends J.M. Robinson High School in Concord. He is currently a junior in the Living and Learning program. I am a former teacher since 1989 and now a published author, but I'm here to seek a solution for the nonsensical situation causing collateral damage for students, teachers, and parents of exceptional children in our district, specifically J.M. Robinson. Currently, the Living and Learning program is short 2 certified teachers since early October. At the beginning of the school year, they were short 1 certified teacher. Their most qualified EC teacher, Mrs. Katie Stallings, resigned, in my opinion, due to several factors stemming from the lack of support from her district. Initially, the terrible decision to require children with disabilities to do remote learning was only the beginning. Then the mask mandate for teachers and students added to the frustration of your teaching staff. Now the most serious and most likely unlawful state of disastrous situations taking place as we speak. 2 of the 3 Living and Learning classes are being led by EC assistants and substitutes. Only Ms. Susan Keever is certified and qualified to teach special education. She is forced to be the only writer of lesson plans and individualized education plans for over 30 students in the 3 classes, an overwhelming task. I have spoken to several employees of Cabarrus County Schools, including Ms. Keever, Ms. Bost, the assistant principal, Mr. Hobbs, the principal at Robinson, Ms. Fitzwater, Angela Fitzwater, Ms. Slingerland, and a human resources specialist. I have received several mixed messages. For example, Principal Hobbs has told me that HR is seeking graduates in December, to fill the roles of these teachers' vacancies. Ms. Fitzwater tells me that there's a plan in place. Ms. Slingerland says that they are working hard trying to find certified teachers and interviewing candidates. According to a source of mine, who will remain anonymous, there have been 0 interviews for those positions. We are in the 12th week of the school year, and 2 critical vacancies have not been filled. I have suggested that administrators seek to fill those roles until someone is hired. According to a Wake County resident that I personally know, when job placement failed in one school in Wake County, the assistant superintendent filled in until the position was filled. Human resource personnel would not divulge to me if any interviews for Robinson EC staff have occurred because they say it's against their policy to reveal that. But is it policy to allow EC students to receive services less than appropriate by underqualified and uncertified staff? I called the Department of Public Instruction, in Raleigh, and now I understand, seems like a cover-up's taken place. I was given the email and the phone number of a higher-up official who could answer this question. Is it legal or appropriate to use EC assistants and subs to teach this vulnerable population for an extended period of time? Guess what? Never heard back from them. I left a phone message and an email. Nothing. I leave you with this. Would you send a nurse into an operating room to perform surgery? Would you send a paralegal into a courtroom to prosecute a murder trial? And finally, would you send a drama student to perform on Broadway? Think about this. They were kept quarantined, our children, with laptops at home, masks placed on their faces to hide their precious smiles, and now they are denied an appropriate education by not doing everything in your power to place skilled professional EC certified teachers to care for our children the way that Katie Stallings did for all those years. Please don't blame it on COVID. Please don't blame it on anything but this bureaucracy. Speaking on behalf of all those parents from the living and learning community who wanted to speak but were afraid to, I say to you, Mr. Superintendent, tear down these walls of mediocrity and get something done. I promise you, more parents will join in this mission if you don't. I hope to hear a response from one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker number 3 is Rob Goodman. Good evening.
Hey, good evening.
You are keyed and ready to start.
All right, thank you. Good evening, board members, guests, and viewers at home. My name is Rob Goodman, and I work at Winkler Middle School. A lot of people will tell you that I'm the face of the school. I come for you tonight to ask the board to think about not letting sixth graders play sports in Cabarrus County. I have reached out to different counties around us, and all the counties around us do let their sixth grader play sports. And me being involved with sports and the community, a lot of people ask me, why can't they play sports? It seems like every time we come around to a new sports season, be honest, I don't know the answer what to tell them. So that's why I come to you tonight. I like to plant the seed to be able to get our sixth graders involved in sports. Like all the other counties, they said that they cannot play football. However, they can play other sports throughout the county. Being a wrestling coach, our lightest weight class is 76 pounds. Not many middle schools can fill that 76-pound weight class. So I just come before you tonight to ask you to maybe start a poll or something like that. I would guarantee you that you'd have at least 80 to 85% of our families in the community that would like to have sports for sixth graders. My son started playing sports when he was 5 years old, and we were a little bit upset whenever we got to middle school and found out he had to sit out a year to play for that middle school team. As you know, in middle school, it is a transition from elementary school. Therefore, I think that sixth graders that can play sports in middle school will help them, be more involved. We want our students, when they come to school, to be involved. So I think just playing sports will help them be involved. We all know that our mission for the Cabarrus County Schools is empowering students to build their future. And just like Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it. So I feel that I come before you tonight to ask you to reach out to the parents. You guys are here. I know that this board wants to do what's best for the community, for the schools, and for the parents. So I ask you to maybe do a survey, and let's see what the community says about allowing sixth graders to play for our schools. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a great evening.
Excuse me, sir, can I ask for clarity, please?
What's that? Up here.
I just had a question for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said you contacted other districts. Can you tell what districts those were?
Well, when I say I contacted, I mean through social media. I have a lot of followers on social media. There's only, I think Wilkes County might be the only county that reached back that said that they cannot play sports. Charlotte, Mecklenburg, Iredell, all our surrounding, Rowan County, so all the surrounding counties. I had an overwhelming response. When I put on there I was going to be coming to the board to talk about this subject, a lot of people actually cheered me on and said that good luck, wish me the best of luck. I did not have one negative comment about what I'm coming here to do tonight.
Thanks for clarity.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Okay, board members, we will move to items under 10.01, which is the Cabarrus County School Spotlight on Educators, and we will have the Teacher of the Year, Miss Ashton Berry, to the podium.
Good evening. Do we have the slides ready to go? Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, our viewing audience streaming from home. I am so excited to share that after working closely with Dr. Kopicki, we both agreed that we have a wonderful opportunity at the regularly scheduled board meetings to showcase and celebrate the masterful teaching taking place across our district through a monthly CCS Spotlight on Educators. I am really grateful for this opportunity to share everything that's happening in CCS. And we can go to the next slide. Thank you. We'll kick off our regularly scheduled CCS Educator Spotlights with a cross-curricular PBL, which stands for Problem or Project-Based Assessments, or Learning, that spanned across multiple departments and academic areas at Central Cabarrus High School the week before Halloween. CCS students solved a murder mystery, Who Killed Victor the Viking, in a standards-based breakout room task session. Students had 5 breakout room locations in which they had to solve a series of puzzles based on core content areas. For example, in the science breakout rooms, students analyzed DNA, chemical compound samples, and soil samples found from the scene of the crime, which led to a code on a locked box. When solved, each breakout room clue led to another location of their next breakout task, as well as a clue to the next suspect. At the final location, when solved, the suspect was revealed. Furthermore, throughout the week leading to the event, STEM teachers planted clues throughout the campus for students to find, getting the students really excited for this activity. With the help of CCHS teachers, we were able to put together a quick highlight reel of the murder mystery PBL in action. And that should pop up as a play button in just a moment. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Okay. Well, in the meantime, I'd love to highlight those educators' names. So I can't speak highly enough about the masterful collaboration of these amazing educators. A big thanks to go to these CCHS teachers. Reg Aubrey of the CTE and Robotics, Richard Thornton, CTE, John Porter, CTE, Keith Milletta, English, Kate Price, English, Eric Olson, English, Whitney Nolan, Math, Cindy Heath, Math, Tiffany Hunter, also Math, and Ashlyn Freeman, Math, David Maturin, Science, Maggie Homeler, Science, Cheyenne Pompey, Science, Lauren Clausen, also Science, Daniel Maxwell, Social Studies, Daniel Combs, Social Studies, Clint Chapman, Social Studies, Shannon Blackman, Art and Design, and Colin Springer, Physical Education. And maybe we'll be able to share that highlight reel with you in the future. I'm really sorry that that didn't come through. But you'll be able to see the students working together collaboratively across multiple disciplines, and it is really impressive. So kudos to these amazing educators. Great job, Vikings.
Great. Thank you. Okay, now we will move on to 11.01, Board Chair and Superintendent Comments. We discussed work session regarding the two committees that the board is going to put together. We are still working on the mission and the goals for the first student services and also for the literature and supplemental materials steering committees. So we will work with the board members that are the liaisons with Dr. Kopicki and the staff to complete those missions and goals, and then we will bring that back to the December meetings. Also, I would like to recognize the SRO that was just currently with us. Sometimes we fail to express our appreciation for the Sheriff's Department having them here with each one of our meetings. So we would like to reach out and say thank you for having our SROs here with us at each meeting. And I was in a meeting in Raleigh yesterday and a good portion of the morning today. Several things are going to come out that I'm going to send out in a report. My mind is still trying to wrap around all the information that I received, so I will get that out to y'all by Friday afternoon. If you have any questions or comments, some of this will be pushed back to some of these committees for further information or responses. And we have a timeliness to get some responses out, so I would just ask that you take a look at it and get your questions or your comments to me. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Kopicki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few announcements. First, I want to begin by congratulating our 2021-2022 EC Educator of Excellence, Melody Quick. Mrs. Quick is a self-contained classroom teacher at Mount Pleasant Middle School. She will be honored at the North Carolina Council for Exceptional Children's 70th Annual Conference in Greensboro this month. Congratulations are also in order for our very own Teacher of the Year, Aston Berry, who was recently named a 2022 Southwest Region Teacher of the Year finalist. Congratulations, Aston. Reminding folks that this week we celebrate National School Psychology Week. And as we all know now more than ever, we want to say thank you to our school psychologists who play a critical role in the social and emotional well-being of our students. They collaborate with other school staff, families, and members of the community to energize and empower our students on a daily basis. Training for the Say Something Anonymous reporting system, the safety tool, will begin soon for students in grades 6 through 12 and for teachers and administrators. The program teaches students, teachers, and administrators how to recognize warning signs and signals, especially within social media, of individuals who may be a threat to themselves or others, and say something to a trusted adult or uses anonymous reporting system. I want to remind folks that the application for the Cabarrus County Schools Program Choice are now open and available until December 17th, and there is information on our website for those that want to inquire more about that program. Also, reminding folks in our community that where you can find the COVID-19 information. If you look on our website, it includes the COVID metrics, the weekly case counts by school, weekly quarantines, as well as general information. It's accessible from multiple locations on our district website. It's on the Find It Fast COVID-19 icon. It's on the global message, which is the yellow box at the top of the district site, which links you to COVID-19 information. It's an alert message when you first access our district website, and it links you to various COVID-19 information. The multimedia gallery section with the large photos and images links to COVID-19 information. The useful links in the new and noteworthy section also provide you information for our COVID data. Sharing that with you because there have been folks that have asked us where to find that information. If you get on our website and access any of those sites, you will find a lot of the information available to you. And finally, a few reminders. Thursday, November 11th is Veterans Day. That is a holiday for all of us. November 24th to 26th will be our Thanksgiving Day holiday. December 3rd is the deadline for entries for our 11th annual holiday e-card design contest. The theme this year is Peace, Love, and Kindness. And as I said, December 17th is the deadline for our program choice applications. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will move to 11.03, the Assistant Superintendent comments, and we will ask Mr. John LeGrand to the podium. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kopicki. With me tonight is our School Nutrition Program Director, Mrs. Stephanie Almond, and she has some good news to share about additional funds available to our S&P program and staff. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Almond now.
Can you use this one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay. North Carolina school nutrition programs have been and continue to be instrumental in supporting the needs of students throughout the state's COVID-19 response. These programs and the personnel who lead them and serve them remain essential to the mission of nourishing students' bodies, minds, souls, and spirits. Under the existing USDA waivers, school nutrition teams across the state are providing meals through innovative and socially distant approaches to support the return of students to in-person learning. While the need for food at school and in the community is great, school nutrition programs remain understaffed and challenged to meet the need. Most district school nutrition programs report challenges related to the recruitment and retention of personnel. One of the reasons for this challenge is the compensation package offered by the service industry as service-oriented businesses begin to fully open. School nutrition leaders across North Carolina have expressed the need for a competitive compensation package as well as retention and recruitment incentive packages. Specifically, the school nutrition section of the Department of Public Instruction requested that $10 million of ESSER II funds be allocated to school nutrition programs across the state during the pandemic. Fortunately, the General Assembly and the State Board of Education agreed and approved this request. Okay. The key requirements. No. Okay, never mind. Funds may be used to provide recruitment and/or retention bonuses for school nutrition personnel. The funds are available to public school units whose school food authorities are approved to administer a federally funded school nutrition program as of August 31st, 2021. We meet that requirement. A district's allotment is based on the district's ADM less the unexpended balance of coronavirus relief funds as of July 31st, 2021. We had no unexpended coronavirus relief fund balance, so we are eligible to receive the entire allotment. No.
Sorry.
It's okay. The application was a joint effort between S&P and the Finance Office. The application is due to DPI by December 15th, 2021, and is required to provide a detailed plan of how the district plans to utilize and distribute the funds. The plan must include for the funds to be expended by September of 2023. Our application was submitted in October, and we were notified last week that our proposed plan was approved. Of the $239,890 allotted to CCS, we plan to give current S&P employees a $500 retention bonus in December of this year. Then the first 50 new hires will receive a $500 recruitment bonus that will be paid after their first 90 days. In December of 2022, we will use all of the remaining funds to offer a retention bonus to all S&P employees. All bonuses will be prorated on the basis of daily hours. We will pay FICA and indirect costs for all bonuses out of this fund. Our reasoning behind the way we divided the funds was simple. The current S&P employees have worked serving meals from the first day we were sent home in March of 2020, and they have not stopped since, including working both summers without a significant break and being called upon many times for ingenuity in developing serving methods that meet the many requirements. We owe this group a great debt of gratitude and want them to stay with CCS. We hope that the retention bonus will express our thanks and our desire to keep them on board. The incentive or hiring bonus has a two-pronged approach. Filling the 40-some-odd vacancies in S&P would ease the current employees' overwhelming workload and would hopefully entice new applicants into taking that step to joining CCS.
Thank you, Ms. Almond, and we're certainly grateful for our S&P workers and staff. They provide a tremendous service to our schools and our students each day. I also want to point out, and we discussed this last month, about the pay raise that we were able to provide for our bus drivers in collaboration with this board. And we want to thank everybody involved, because we were able to raise our starting pay from $14.89 up to $16, which is a 7.45% increase. And not only for the starting drivers, but that would be across the board applied to the state salary up to the maximum of $17.45, which is the state maximum. And if a staff reaches the maximum, they will get, and not able to receive the rate, that 7.45% raise, they will receive a one-time $500 bonus, so that everyone is involved in this. And that is an impact for our bus drivers, our monitors, our transportation safety assistants, at a projected cost of just over $500,000 for this year one. So again, we're very proud to be able to provide these additional funds to those workers that have done so much for the school district and our students over the past several months. At this time, if there are any questions about anything that Ms. Almond said or I just said, we're here to receive any questions.
Thank you for that presentation, and we will take comments or questions from the board members. I'll start with Ms. Sandage.
Well, if I can get my mic to work. Thank you for all that you do. I want to just say thank you to all of the employees in the cafeteria, our bus drivers, and just our staff as a whole. I don't have any questions or anything like that, but I just want to comment and say, anytime we're able to appreciate our staff, either whether it be monetarily or whether it be just by saying thank you, I think that we should do that. So thanks for applying for this.
Ms. Blackwell?
Absolutely ditto what Ms. Sandage just said, but also wondered, have we, like, how many spots are still open for bus drivers? Have we been able to fill some of those slots now with the increase, or?
We have seen an increase in those applying, and more importantly, we've seen an increase in the retention rate of our bus drivers. So, for example, as little as a month ago, we were hiring 2 and we would lose 2, so it was a net 0. So now we're hiring 2 and keeping 2, so we're able to gain some momentum. We've gone from approximately 55 bus driver vacancies to now we're in the high 30s. So we are making up ground. That doesn't seem like a lot, but that makes a huge difference when you got that many buses on the road.
Mr. Walter.
Did we consider just doing a raise, a pay raise instead of the $500 like you did for the transportation, or is that, are you restricted from doing that, or?
It was only for the purpose of retention or recruitment bonuses. That was all we were allowed to spend it on.
A raise is the same thing, and you're trying to retain and keep them.
Well,
the bonus is a one-time fund, or the fund is for a one-time bonus as opposed to a raise that would then be I guess built into their salary or their hourly rate from there forward. And that was what the money was allotted to. We couldn't do it. The only thing we could do with that money is offer a retention and or recruitment bonus.
Okay, I just think we should be competitive like we were with transportation as well. It's limited to 50 new hires. Is that, why is that?
we just planned a strategy thinking what would get us the most out of, I guess, the most bang for the buck that we got. We have about 40 vacancies right now, but as you know, we've got a new middle school opening, and so we took into consideration some of those new positions, and hopefully also to generate a little bit of excitement. You know, somebody may need to apply earlier to be able to be eligible for that.
All right, so if you don't fill the 50, does that go into this remainder that's paid out at the end? Is that how that works, or?
That's probably what we'll do for it.
Yeah, and that'll be carried over for the bonus in the following year.
So the $500 bonus and for the current employees and the 50 new, is that equal to the 239, or what does that come out to?
It's going to be close to that, and again, anything that's left over from that will be offered in the form of a bonus for the following school year. It will likely not be a $500 bonus, but whatever we have left over will be divided up and given to our employees.
Okay, and then for those that are watching tonight, if they want to come join our staff, how do they do that? What do they need to do?
Go to the district website and the way I do it is choose departments and human resources and scroll down till you see vacancies, and then in the search criteria enter cafeteria, and all of our positions are open there.
By school, is that how it goes?
Some are by school, yes, unless there's something like manager trainees that goes across all the district.
Thank you again.
Mr. Furr?
I have no questions, and I think Ms. Sandage said it perfectly, and we definitely appreciate all the effort that's went on the last year and a half, and thank you very much.
Ms. Carpenter?
Same here. Thank you for all the effort that's been put by our drivers, by our cafeteria staff. Everybody has gone way beyond doing everything, and we do appreciate it so much, and I think this will help, and whatever we can do on our part, we will be more than happy, and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Ms. Adcock?
I'll say the same. Thank you guys for everything you do, for your leadership through this. I know it's been hard, a lot of staff shortages, but I'd also just like to remind the public that while we were in COVID, that you guys were also delivering meals to families, which I think was just phenomenal that you were able to do that. And so you used your teams too wisely and created some innovative ways to get that food out. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Dr. Kopicki?
Yeah, Stephanie, I just want to say thank you very much for your diligence and your work on this. I know the stress and pressure that you're under on a daily basis, and I'd like to thank the Finance Department for helping you with the grant application. You are a fine example of the wonderful people that are employed, and I thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you.
And I will just say ditto the board members and Dr. Kopicki. And thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will move to Section 12 under reports, and we will start with Mr. Jay White, Board Attorney, and or Mr. Vogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wanted to call to the board's attention the matter that was just come down from OSHA in regards to 100 employees or more, or employers with 100 employees or more have to either be mandatory vaccinated or having tested routinely. The reason why I wanted to bring that attention, because certainly you have more than 100 employees. However, the Fifth Circuit, which is New Orleans, a lawsuit was filed by the Attorney General for Louisiana to temporarily stay that enforcement, which was supposed to start on January the 4th. The 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 11th circuit courts are also have filed something, but nothing has been suspended as of now. There are some things that we're going to have to discuss going forward, how that applies to our staff and teachers and everyone, and so that we'll be coming back to the board with some suggestions about how to plan and prepare if it goes into effect, and if it doesn't go into effect, what we need to do so we're not caught on guard. But January the 4th right now is a date that it would be implemented, but that's what we're looking at. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Thank you.
Okay. Board members, any comments or questions? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just clarify for the viewing audience
Yes.
what a temporary stay means.
Temporary stay is that the federal courts are deciding whether it should be a mandatory stay. In other words, until the litigation is completed, this will not be the requirement will not be implemented, or is it something that while the case is weaving through the federal court system, that the mandate is going to be followed. So that's what a temporary stay is right now. Let's figure out what's going on, and in order to make a sound decision, we want the judge says, I want to have a brief from the federal government Department of Justice by 5 o'clock today, and then also hear from the Attorney General from Louisiana. That also these other circuits are going to be filing or are going to be weighing in with the decision. So the temporary is just seeing where the litigation is right now. And right now, there is nothing for this school board to decide, but we're looking at a January the 4th just to make certain we're well prepared like y'all always want to be.
Thank you. I can just see that bringing about a lot of questions and,
Yes, ma'am.
and things of that nature. And if that happens, where do those questions go?
Well, if the public is concerned, or the teachers are concerned, or custodians, whoever it may be, do I have to be vaccinated? That decision is not having to be made at best until January the 4th. But as of today, there is no deadline, there is no requirement, there is no mandate. But y'all, or the HR, will be formulating a plan as to how it would be implemented if it does apply. That's where we're going. Any other questions?
Ms. Blackwell, I'm just going to go down the line just to make it easy. Ms. Blackwell, comments or questions? No, not right. Mr. Walter?
Just help me understand a little better. I thought that was for private companies.
It also
Are we
is
not
for
a governmental entity with our own?
It does apply to the school system here.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Furr?
Does that apply to school board members?
Well,
no.
No.
It don't.
I will get that
I would
answer
double
for
check
you.
that.
Because what happens is I need to find out, are you considered an employee of the school system, which I believe you are, but I will get that answer for you.
Thank you. Ms. Carpenter?
No questions at this time.
Okay. Ms. Adcock?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board members, any committee reports that we need to hear from? No one at all? Okay, I think I've covered the two committees that will be.
Mr. Vasilis, do you want to make your announcement from last week about the funding, the grant funding that we got? Sorry. We had, again, the SHAC committee had a meeting and there was some updated information after that meeting.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thanks for the opportunity to speak about this. We did receive a grant through the ESSERS funds to be able to offer enhanced mental health services for our students, school-based services for students. We are currently in the process of having a request for proposal out to mental health agencies to be able to provide those services to our students. We hope to be able to close those out by November 16th, and then be able to implement services preferably before we leave for the Christmas break.
And that's a big deal because if we've got students that are struggling or they have and can't maybe afford that, they've got somewhere we have options for them.
Right. So as you and Laura know you and Ms. Blackwell know from participating in SHAC, and you guys have all said this throughout the pandemic, is mental health is a huge need for our students, and this will create access to students who are uninsured or underinsured, those with very high co-pays, for whom access to mental health care would be a hardship. This is something that we're able to do at no cost to local taxpayers, rather just through use of the ESSERS funds.
And thank you for explaining it a whole lot better than I could.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Hey, John, hang on just 1 second. Ms. Carpenter? Okay, Ms. Carpenter, can you key up?
Excuse me. How much would this grant be available? How much would this be for?
So in terms of dollars,
Yeah.
so the dollar amount that we are projecting is $210,000 of service to students. Now, what that exactly materializes into the number of students served and the number of sessions, we still have to review those RFPs to be able to answer that more precisely. Does that give you what you're looking for? Yes, ma'am.
So I'm thinking that's going to come to the board in a little more detailed report later on, correct?
So yes, as we get when we get through the RFP process, we'll make sure that you all get that in a weekly wrap up. And then of course, as you have questions about it, you certainly are free to ask us anything you want to know. And of course, you have two great involved members on our School Health Advisory Committee Council who can certainly share back as well.
Great. Okay, great. Ms. Sandage, did you have a question or a comment?
You just answered it. I don't know which committee it was.
Okay.
SHAC.
Okay. And one more time, can you tell the viewing audience what that stands for? We all use such
Sure, I'm so
acronyms.
sorry,
That's
yeah.
okay.
So that's our School Health Advisory Council.
And can you give just a little bit of a...
Sure. So every school district in the state of North Carolina is required to have a group that involves staff and community members, health professionals who get together to talk about school health issues. Obviously, mental health is among the chief of our health concerns.
Okay.
Thank
you. Okay, next we will move to 12.03. We will have Dr. Kopicki for the Cabarrus County Schools COVID-19 data and information update.
Okay, as you can see in the metric guidelines, the positivity rate right now in our community is 5.2%. Our case counts are 526. Our weekly our weekly cases in the Cabarrus County schools has been 63 cases this week, and the weekly quarantines is 382. The quarantines are slightly up. I believe last week the cases were around 57 to 60 as well, so the cases are not that much different. And I believe the case counts are down slightly. So again, we would still be in the mask optional data point based on that information, but they are our counts for the last week.
Okay, board members, comments or questions, and I'll begin with Ms. Adcock.
So are the numbers that you're talking about now, is this 14 days out, like back, or is this like current as of today?
We always trail 1 week behind, so we're always a week behind. So you're getting data updated of the previous week when I stand here.
Okay. This is just a question. What is the reason we don't use the CDC percentage that's out right now for our county?
I can't answer that question since, to my knowledge, since I've been here, we've been using the Cabarrus County numbers in terms of positive percentages. When I look at the Cabarrus County Health Alliance gives a weekly report. There's a meeting held every week. It's actually every other week right now. They give us a weekly update on the case counts, the deaths in the community, the percentage positive, the hospitalizations, etc. There's a lot of information on that. That percent positivity number has always been a number that I've referenced as I've been here because it's what you have been using. So I'm not sure as to why the CDC was not chosen. I would not have been here. But when I came, that was the data source that you were using that I have continued to use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Carpenter?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know that the Health Alliance, they're usually about a week behind because you can look at the state numbers, and the state numbers, like you're showing 5.2. Right now,
Correct.
the state's showing 5.5. I think it's 5.5 for us. Usually the state for Cabarrus County. Now they're showing 5.5 right now as of today for Cabarrus County. Now the state itself is at 5.1.
Yeah.
But
And the state updates every day at noon. The state updates their data every day at noon.
Yep, but as of right now, they're 5.5, and is what they're showing for us, and they, I follow that trend regularly, but you'll see sometime 2 days that they'll show the rates, but they do. I know we are usually about a week behind, and you say the quarantines. I know they have been increasing quite a bit, have they not?
I don't have that particular slide in front of me, but I did look at it today from last week. I wouldn't say they are increasing quite a bit. This is the highest it's been probably since mid-October in terms of quarantines. But I remind the board, we are mask optional, so there is some opportunity there for our quarantines to increase, right? But 382 is, I want everything to be zero, but I wouldn't say it's a dramatic increase from the previous week.
Okay.
But it is slightly higher than it was.
What was that? What has been our lowest? Do you know what our lowest has been?
I want to say I'm close. I want to say like our lowest quarantines was around 235, 245 in that range. Okay. I want to say it's 247 is the number that comes in my head, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And I believe our lowest positivities were, I think it was 57, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Furr?
We had this number one time, and I don't think it's required as far as part of the metric, but out of the number of quarantines, which is 3-something, are we able to figure out how many of those tested positive later?
Yes, we are keeping a count on the cases that are positive. We are tracking the number of students that are turning positive that were in our quarantines. So we are tracking that, and that last week I think was right around 5 to 7%. That hasn't deviated much from week to week.
So out of 330 something, what would that be?
I'd have to look at that. I don't have that slide in front of me.
10% would be
10%
30
would be
something, so
38.
15.
But we have not had anything that high. I want to say again, I think last week was like 10 to 15 cases that turned positive out of the quarantines.
Sorry, so we're still, even though we like to say, not us, not this county, but we want to keep kids in school, but still we're sending healthy kids home regularly.
Before I move on down, I just thought we probably need to do a cumulative, like the local leaders do, that get the, from week to week when it goes back. If we could do that, I think that would be
Not a
real
problem.
helpful. And then we none have to remember those, because I was trying to think about it myself that came out of this morning and I can't remember. But if we could do that, maybe a
From
cumulative.
the county, from Cabarrus County, I have it right there. I could pull it if
Right.
you want to pull it.
I mean, just to go backwards to kind of see where we've
Yep.
moved forward, I think that would be helpful, because it's helpful for us to look at that, when we're on there on Monday mornings, we can kind of see what the trends are.
Right.
Let's do that. Mr. Walter?
So the metrics still show mask optional, is that correct?
Say again?
Looking at the metrics base, it still says mask optional.
Correct.
We're not, haven't moved into the orange or red.
That's correct. It's still saying mask optional is the, according to this metric that we're using, mask optional is where we would be.
All right, so we're watching it closely, and if it changes, we can make a different decision, but right now it still says mask optional.
Correct.
Ms. Blackwell?
I was thinking about what Tim had already said, so I am totally in agreement with that. I definitely would like those numbers for the quarantine cases that are ended up testing positive.
Ms. Sandage?
Sure. So can you just clarify, I think it was last month, you recommended, I'm not loud enough? Oh, okay. I just wanted you to let me know if your recommendations for the district as a whole to be mask mandated have changed based on the information that you're able to see by week.
So I would say, if you're asking me would I still recommend masking, I would say to you that my recommendation has not changed. I would stand by that recommendation.
Okay. Did we clarify, I asked, I think it was last month too, if we clarified if the local health department leadership had approved this metric?
So the local leadership, which would be our Cabarrus Health Alliance, which is what the data that the meeting that we attend on a weekly basis and the data that we get from them, we use a lot of their data. But I did not ask that the Cabarrus Health Alliance approve this metric. There was representation at the task force meeting when we discussed the metric. But I would not stand here and say that they endorsed it 100%, but there was representation at the meeting.
Okay. And also the same question for the local leaders at our Cabarrus hospital. Have they kind of adopted or approved, or whatever you want to call it, this metric?
Yeah, I could not speak to that on their behalf.
Okay, so no, neither one.
Ms. Sandage, I think I'm going to speak to that, just because I know with you being a new board member, there's been a lot of prior conversations last year when this initially started. So the health department and Atrium Health has made several statements during a lot of meetings that they'll make recommendations, but they're not in the business of approving what the Board of Education is responsible for. And that has been noted several times. I'm not sure where we're going with that. I know, being on the task force, and you're part of that conversation, we have all those representatives on the task force. So at any given time, they're able to weigh in, make a statement. They speak on behalf of their organizations. That's why they were appointed to that. And I know that's prior to some of you being on the board and with Dr. Kopicki coming. But at the end of the day, it's the Board of Education that has adopted this metrics. Whether you voted for it or against it, this is what we use. If the board needs to revisit this, or we need to do something different, that is a discussion for this board. Now, if y'all would like to do that, then we need to have that discussion.
So, as I stated earlier, I asked these questions weeks ago, and I didn't get an answer to them, neither via email nor in this fashion. Ms. Carolyn Carpenter also asked the same questions. So what I'm trying to do is get an answer to those questions.
Okay, so let's go back over that again. I assume
I'm sorry, did you say something, Mr. Furr?
So let's
Oh,
go
I thought
back
you said
over that
something.
again. When you're a part of the task force, that's what I was saying, the people that are part of the task force heard the information. So if I didn't answer that, I apologize, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff going on with what we do with the disseminating information. But the bottom line is, all of us should understand that these metrics were approved by this board. A vote was taken, and that is a legal action of this board. If we need to revisit that, this board needs to make that decision. And Ms. Sandage, if you want to make that a recommendation or a discussion item, we can do that for sure.
I just want to make sure that the health department and the local hospital are at least on board with this metrics that we have approved. How we figure that out, I don't know. But again, that question was asked a few weeks ago by 2 board members, and it has yet to be answered. So I don't know how we answer that. Maybe legal needs to help us figure that. I don't know. I'm just saying, I've asked questions and it hasn't been answered via email or via.
Then I will send you an email out, and I'm going to basically say just exactly what I just said. The task force, which this board, not this board, but the prior board put in place to help maneuver us through this process, and we've been doing this for now almost 2 years, is a part of our decision making. That is what we created to help us make these decisions and to put data and metrics and parameters in place to help us make these decisions. We have been having that discussion, and you and Ms. Adcock are actually on the task force, so that conversation was had about the metrics. At any given time, Atrium, they're on there, Cabarrus Health Alliance, they're on there. Their actual team leads are on that task force that we appointed. They at any given time, and I'm pretty sure at the last meeting, they both all agreed with those. No one spoke against it. That is the whole reason we had the meeting, was to align the metrics with what we were wanting to do. The only thing that we didn't change anything. The only thing that we did was we just added Cabarrus County Schools information to this, which we all thought was important. What our snapshot looks like, not just the county as a whole, but what's going on with Cabarrus County Schools. So we really didn't change anything. We just added that information. We removed one line item, which if that's important, we definitely can put that back if the board chooses to do so. But the metrics did not change.
If we took something off, the metrics changed. What I'll do is, I guess, call them myself and ask them if they appreciate this metrics. Maybe that'll help.
You are more than welcome to do that.
Thank you.
Each board member can do their own homework. Okay, Ms. Carpenter?
I do have, and maybe clarification from our attorney may be in order for this. As when we, as a board, appoint a committee or a task force, that task force or that committee is actually just supposed to advise us, to give us information. They cannot, and then it is up to this board to take that information. So it is not binding for us at all. So we just get that information. Is that not correct? So it is not a binding thing either way. So I mean, is that not correct?
That is correct. No, you are 100%.
That assumption?
You are 100% correct. That's exactly what came back to this board, was the task force recommendations, or whatever we stated that night. That was the time for this board to say, we want to do something different, we don't agree with it, we'd like to add it, we'd like to change it, whatever that was. So Ms. Furr, I would like for the next meeting for that to be pulled, and we'll have that same discussion, because we have to do this every 30 days. So now the time is, if this board is not completely happy now that we're moving into this decision-making process, on a regular basis, then now is the time to look at that if we want to look at different metrics.
Because the only reason that this is in question, because us as a board, we can't do anything with quarantines. The only thing this board has any kind of authority to do, we all know that, is on these wonderful things. And quarantines, we can't do anything, and the Health Alliance is the only one that has authority on this. And the Health Alliance has got authority on a lot more than we do. That is the only question I think why myself and maybe Ms. Sanders is even asking on this.
And it's okay. I mean,
and to say that, to even ask for that.
But what I'm telling you is asking the question is one thing. What do we want to do with that is a different action. Okay, so now that we all understand all this information went before the task force, those recommendations came back out. We approved them as a board the night that we made that decision. We did. I don't remember what the vote was actually. Okay, so if it was 4-3, that's fine, but the majority of the board voted. Now, it is each one of yours prerogative if you would like to revisit that, to put that before the board as a discussion item. That's how that's done. We can't change it right now because we've already taken action on it, as you know that. So what I'm saying is we didn't just arbitrarily decide to use these numbers. This board took action on that. If we're going to do anything different, this board has to take action again, and you know that. So if one of you would like to put that on as a discussion item, that is perfectly fine. I just want to make sure we're following the legal process, which is what our attorneys would make sure that we did. I'm not arguing the point or where your position is. I'm just saying there's a process and a way we have to do it. So if I'm hearing you say you would like to bring it back before the board again to have a discussion, I just need one of you to make that statement.
I have another question before we do that.
Okay.
We talked some time ago about the nurses and them getting assistance from Cabarrus Health Alliance. Has there been any changes there? Has there been any implementation there?
There has, and I'll let John Basilis update us on the actual numbers of that.
And the reason why I asked Mr. Basilis is because I see the quarantines getting ready to jump up. Just my thought. So I want to know, make sure we've got help for our staff.
So, thank you, Ms. Sandage. Okay, very good. So, from my last meeting with the Health Alliance, the information that I've received from them is that every school that has asked for additional support for their school nurse has received that additional support.
You have a number?
I'm sorry, I don't have the actual number, but I do know in terms of percentage, it's 100% of the schools that requested it.
Okay. Can you give me an exact number there?
I
Ms.
can find
Sanders,
an
will you
exact
key
number.
up, please?
Sure.
Can you get me an exact number, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. I just can't get it to you tonight, but I can get it to you.
That's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Carpenter, I think I was down to you. Anything else from you?
No, and I don't know, I would kind of like to see that come back so we could review it again. I don't know if I get a second on. If I don't, that's fine, but that...
You don't even need it. We don't even have to do it that way. If one of you say we would like to have a discussion item placed back on the agenda, that's all that's necessary. Okay. I just need that to be stated.
Yeah, yes, I would.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Adcock?
Yes, so right now I'm looking at the CDC website for Cabarrus County. I mean, it has our county numbers, and it says of November 8th, it says 5.8% positivity rate. So I'm just questioning if we are going to choose data that gives us the information now so that we can make appropriate decisions that we use this number. So I'm in agreement with her about bringing this back up.
Okay. So let's just add a discussion item for the December meeting to revisit the metrics. Is that good with everyone? Okay. Well, we have 2 board members that would like to do that, so we probably need to do it. Okay. So I will add that to the December. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So the metric, I can't see it from here, but isn't it 5 to 8? 5% to 8%. So we're way under 8. So I don't even know why we're discussing.
Well, as of the Cabarrus case data, as of 11/8 is 5.2%. I don't dispute any of the numbers and the sources that you're pulling from. I'm just using the data that we've always used. So it's at 5.2% according to the Cabarrus case data. And on this, they reference the North Carolina DDHS COVID dashboard, so they must be pulling this off at the state, but I could clarify that with them and ask them that question. And then to regards of the case counts, there were some questions that were asked of our own case counts. Just give an update. So last week, when we reported out our last week, there were 48 positives. This week, there are 63. So that's an increase of 15. Last week, we had 213 quarantines. That was the lowest that we've had since I have been here in August, since August 23rd. They are currently at 382. That's the highest it's been since September 27th. We've seen small decreases since then. Those that are quarantined that are becoming positive, we had 10 cases or 3% from November 1st, 2021. So that would be the answer to those questions that some of the board members had asked me previously.
Okay, so I'll make one more round just so we're real clear. The direction that the board will take in the December meeting is to take another look at the metrics and the parameters we're using. Ms. Adcock, anything else additional?
I guess the reason I'm asking is when I look at the 526 and I see that it's only 23 cases away from going into the orange. And if it went into the orange, and then let's say tonight we decide we're still going to stay at max optional, but it really, if you look at these numbers that that are to date, what does that number represent? Does that make sense? So I guess, Dr. Kopicki, if that number went into the orange, then would that take us out of mask optional?
My understanding, according to the board's directive, is 3 or 4 of the metrics, if they stay green or yellow, we stay to that particular choice. If it goes 3 to 4 in the other direction, we would go to that choice. That is my understanding of the board's directive. If there is something different, or I'm misinterpreting that, please clarify for me this evening so I understand what your expectations are.
That was the motion that was placed on the floor and approved, yes. Any other comments or questions?
No, that's all.
Okay, Ms. Carpenter, anything else?
No.
Okay, Mr. Furr?
No.
Mr. Walter?
We still have an action item, don't we, today?
Ms. Blackwell?
No.
Ms. Sandage?
Just make sure we're bringing this back up. You said, yeah, there were 2 board members. There's 3 board members.
Okay, right. You're included. Yes, I will do that. All right. For the record, Ms. Furr, do you have that? Great, thank you. All right. Anything else, board members? Okay.
So, you're getting ready to do the vote on it for the month then?
No, it's down a little further in the agenda item. Okay. So now we will move to 13.01, which is the approval of the consent agenda. We are going to pull under policies for approval on first reading, 4150, which will be sent back to the policy committee for legal review. And with that being said, may I have a motion with that removal that the November 1st, 2021 consent agenda be approved as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Blackwell, a second by Mr. Furr. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Now we will move to the action agenda. Under 14.01, the academic calendar 2021-2022. And I will ask Dr. Kopicki, who I guess we're going to have Ms. Burns at the podium first. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Kopicki, and our viewing audience. As you know, we were looking at making some revisions to the 21-22 academic calendar to provide some relief for some very overworked employees and staff. And I just wanted to share what we came up with. So what we're looking at is, if you look on here, it's really in December, the 3 days before Christmas break. So it would be December 20th, 21st, and 22nd. These are optional teacher work days to begin with. So we're looking at current optional teacher work days and allowing staff to work remotely from home on those 3 days if they wish to work and to work from home. They can also work in the school building, or they can take leave if they have that available. So that is really what we're looking at changing, hoping that will take some of the stress from their jobs. And I had, it's very similar for the early college. It's the same 3 days. And then because Wolf Meadow is on their intercession those 3 days, we came up with wanting them to also have some relief. January 6th and 7th were optional teacher work days for them, so we were making those the same thing, remote work from home. And then February 21st was an optional teacher work day, and that provided the Wolf Meadow staff with the same amount of relief as the other employees from the other schools. All right. Any questions?
I have no questions, just a clarification for the board. I know there's been some discussion on allowing our employees some extra days off or some wellness days or mental health days, and I do understand that, and we've had a lot of discussion about that. I think everyone would like to grant that, but on October 29th, the Public Schools of North Carolina State Board of Education Chair Eric Davis and the General Counsel Allison Schaefer sent out a memo to all superintendents, and it basically states, and I read right from it, the purpose of this correspondence is to remind you of the law on these issues and to address any confusion about the position of the State Board of Education and the Department of Instruction. Article 1, Section 2 of the North Carolina State Constitution articulates that public monies cannot be paid to someone except in consideration of public services. In other words, public monies cannot be used as gifts to individuals, but must be payment for services rendered. The bottom line is that school districts are not free to give extra paid leave days to employees other than those permitted by state statute or State Board of Education rules or policies. So I just want to clarify that for our teachers. We are eternally and incredibly grateful to the great work that they do on a daily basis. But unfortunately, we are not at liberty to grant those leave days that I know some have inquired about. So I just want to be very clear that that is coming right from the State Board of Education and from the General Counsel of the State Board of Education. Thank you, Mrs. Burns.
Okay, so are there any other presentations? I'll give me 1 minute. Is there any other presentations that's going to follow this?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, one more, Kim, if you would come up, please, from our finance department. We would just like to also highlight some of the recent things that we've done as a district in terms of helping our employees as we go through the COVID situation. Kim?
Good morning, good evening, Madam Chair, Board, and Dr. Kopicki and the viewing audience. Tonight I want to present what we've done for our staff related to supplement and bonuses over the past several years. The first is the supplement increases that we've done with the help of our county. As you see, 2016, 2017, we were at 7.25%. Last year, we were at 10%, and then we've jumped it to a 2% increase to 12% for this school year. So we've come a long way these past 6 years. So we want to point that out. On our bonus, which comes from our state, the performance bonus is related to testing for our principals and our certified teachers. As you see, in 2019-2020, it was $1.1 million. It was $287,000 last year because of COVID-related, the testing. But the state went ahead and gave us $350 bonus for each teacher, which amounted to the $1.1 million last year. Jump Start bonus we had over the summer, so it overlapped between both years, but that was given to anybody that participated in Jump Start. That was from teachers to anybody, S&P, bus drivers, anyone that worked that summer Jump Start program got a bonus. And then our licensed childcare bonus from last year. We're still waiting for this year's bonus to see what that will, or this year's budget to see what the bonus will look like. So we're hoping that will come down soon. Then we did give, back in May, to all our classified staff, we gave a one-time 6% bonus. Those include, like examples here, the bus drivers, Kids Plus, student, school nutrition, clerical, custodial, our maintenance, FMD, anybody who's not our certified staff got a bonus. It was a one-time bonus versus a pay increase, mostly due to the funding source, and our primary funding for classified staff is our state funds. So, and then our teacher supplements come from our local, the county. So that bonus that we paid out in May was $4.6 million last year. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll open it up to questions or comments, board members, and I will start with Ms. Sandage.
Okay, so I understand about not being able to do the mental health days, Dr. Kopicki, but could those days or does training count for work day, the staff training?
I clarify what you're asking. You mean if the students are home and just the staff is in?
Yeah, and they are in training. Does that count for a work day? Is that considered work?
So the remote days that we're giving, so we have what we call uncapped staff development days. So that would be days that our teachers are in, our students are not, or any other professional development day we have. That does count as a work day, yes.
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, thanks for that answer. So that'd be capped or uncapped. Any professional development day counts as a work day. Gotcha. Okay, so, and I hope this makes sense. So instead of calling them mental health days, could they be training days? And I'm not saying that we add this anywhere. I'm just asking to clarify.
Well, anything that would, what I would recommend is to state to the calendar as it is this year, to avoid changing it. It's just there's a domino effect. I mean, we would all like to help everybody in terms of maybe asking and maybe allowing a day off, but if you give one group off, there's another group, and there are a lot of groups in the district that are implemented. About 60% of our makeup of our employees are our teachers, but that still leaves about 40% of our employees that we would have to address those, and there's hourly people in there, there's exempt, non-exempt situations, so it does become a little tricky when you do that.
Okay, I definitely understand that. That's why I asked about training, because training could be for any department, any
Yes,
person,
ma'am.
any level. Okay, so thanks for clarifying that. The other thing, I sent an email a few weeks ago just asking about doing some kind of staff appreciation. I heard from another board member that the district used to do something to that measure. I don't think that people are always asking for money or for time off, but they are definitely asking to be appreciated. That's what I hear very loud and clear. And I think if we have the ability to do something like that, that would be a suggestion that I would like to make. So that's all the questions that I have. I'll leave the rest for.
Thank you.
Ms. Blackwell?
No questions.
Mr. Walter?
I thought that was a great presentation on stuff that we have done over the last couple of years, and that really is a partnership between the school board, showing appreciation for the teachers and the county commissioners as well. So I want to thank them as well for making that have that happen. We don't have anything on this agenda here. Is there a way we can put that letter? Is that letter public? Can we share that letter as to why? Is that shareable?
There's no reason why we can't.
So at least, I mean, you read it, but they haven't really seen it. Maybe it would help for the understanding is.
Do you mean loaded in board docs? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Okay, yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
And the same with the presentation. That would be good. So those are my comments.
Mr. Furr?
No comment.
Ms. Carpenter?
Now, what Sue, Ms. Burns, just shared with us, all of that is already on the calendar right now. I mean, that's already in there, right?
That's correct. Those 3
And
days.
so that's not something the parents would, I mean,
No.
they would have to get extra daycare for or anything
Right.
like that. It would not be a burden on our parents or anything, correct?
No, ma'am, that's correct. So the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are staff days only.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is allow them to work remotely on those days, all right? And there are no students in school that day, so that doesn't change any student calendar days.
Okay, that's the point I was trying to make.
Correct.
It wouldn't change the calendar day, so the parents wouldn't have to, wouldn't cost, and that gives them the opportunity, if they want to work remote, I just want to make sure I understand this in my head, that if they want to, so we're not capping it or anything like that, that they can work remote if they want to, and that's the main difference. And we're not adding, how many days do we actually have on our calendar now that are work days? That's one question I didn't hear.
The calendar, I believe, is a 215-day calendar for the school year. And it's 185 or 1,025 hours for students. And we exceed the hour requirement. I believe around 1,070 hours, and I know I'm close there. So we exceed that requirement when we meet the requirement for the employees. And you are correct that those 3 days will be remote days. If the people choose to do that, they can work remotely from home on those days.
Okay, all right. And again, we do appreciate, but I know this has been hard on everybody. And I mean, when I say everybody, this year has been tough on all of us. And are we doing, now this is for the teachers, have we got anything that we're trying to help our other?
Yeah, so that's a good point.
Okay.
So I did speak earlier today with a couple of different department leaders to ask them what the options would be in terms of remote days amongst their departments, and they have assured me that they could be flexible and they could work out some opportunities for their folks to work remotely as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Ms. Adcock?
No questions.
Okay. So with that being said, may I have a motion that the academic calendar 2021-2022 as presented be approved?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Blackwell, a second by Mr. Walter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, now we will move to 14.02, which is our return to school COVID safety guidelines. And board members, this is where we will have a discussion regarding our mandate to vote every 30 days. And I'm going to begin the discussion with Ms. Adcock.
So I do just have another question. So is Dr. Kopicki the one that when the numbers were to get out of sorts within what we've decided that would make the decision, or is it the board's decision to change it?
So the last vote that we had, it's the board's. So what we all had discussion that we probably need to revisit is, should that happen, we will just call a special called meeting. Should something really go awry, then we'll just have a special called meeting.
That clears that up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't have any other comments or questions.
Okay. Ms. Carpenter?
Okay, I'm just going to make a brief statement. I just want to make a quote that there has been 630 Americans 18 and under, according to the CDC, that have died. Nearly 6.2 million children have been affected by this virus, and more than 1.1 million in the last 6 weeks as the Delta variant has surged, said by the American Academy of Pediatrics. I think that we are real close now. We have now got the booster shots available. We now have the vaccination optional for children 5 to 11, and I think we now have got that available. And we have seen our quarantine numbers go up. As you mentioned, we're showing 5.8% rate now, and I just feel like that we need to give it at least another month for people to get their children vaccinated if they would like to do that. And so I think we have just done so well, and I don't think we should take a step back. And I think we should just have those, and I think that with the quarantine numbers going up, that just concerns me, and we should give a chance for children to be vaccinated if their parents want them to be. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Furr.
Nothing.
Mr. Walter.
So the quarantine numbers are still way under, they're 1% or below, is that correct? I mean, they're still very low, even from, we've been doing this now for 2 weeks. So I think it's worth just waiting a little bit longer to make a decision on if those numbers do go up, which it doesn't appear that they've done very significantly at this point, so I don't see why we would need to change. And then the question had to be with vaccinations. Are we doing any clinics at our schools like we did with the adults?
None to my knowledge at this moment, but we will talk with the Cabarrus Health Alliance and see what is available.
Thank you.
Ms. Blackwell.
I don't have anything to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Ms. Sandage.
Sorry. So the numbers that we looked at earlier today were from last week, correct? As far as the quarantines for our schools? Correct. Okay. So where I see there's 1,079 students that are quarantined and 139 staff, that's not correct.
Where are you pulling that information
We
from?
just got an email that says that we have 1,079 students.
Where did you get that email from?
It was sent to all of us.
Just now?
Mm-hmm. Where is that number coming from? No? Okay.
That email probably needs to be made public since we just noted that.
That's
so.
fine. Our emails are public.
Right, but I'm just saying we need to reference where that information is coming from.
Yes, so I just got an email from, hold on. We all just got an email from Christy.
If I may, real quickly, as I review the data. The 1,079 quarantine number was from August 30th.
Okay.
I'm wondering if they're looking at an old, perhaps they're looking at an older.
And that does not look like a CCS staff member.
So that's not current today. I just wanted to make that sure.
No, that goes back to the slide I showed you on the metrics that I showed you that gave you the weekly updates. So on that slide, the 1,079 comes from August 30th, 2021. We had 1,079 quarantines and 269 positive cases on that week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? With that being said, based on the metric-based guidelines that was approved by the Board of Education, that 3 of the 4 metrics are in yellow or green zones, I move that we remain mask optional. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I made the motion. Mr. Furr made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
I have Ms. Sandage and Ms. Carolyn in opposition. Carpenter. Okay. Thank you.
So if I may just make one quick comment.
Absolutely.
So Ms. Sanders and the rest of the board, I want to be real clear on this too. So when people are questioning the numbers, when we went back a few weeks ago, probably over a month now, Mr. Basleys and his group are doing a fantastic job at guiding this data. And I really want to commend their principals because they give us this data every single Friday by 1 o'clock. And I'm just looking back on it again, and it matches 63 positives, 382 quarantines. So our data is coming from our schools, from our principals, and I have 100% faith that our principals are giving us the right data. I know you're not questioning that, but I want to be real clear that our administrators are doing a great job at monitoring the data, are doing a great job at getting the positives to us, are doing a really good job at getting that quarantine information to us, and I'm very pleased and very proud of the work that they're doing because they are staying on top of this amongst the other things that they have their tasks to do. And then that information comes into John Basleys by 1 o'clock, I believe, Friday. Correct, John? Mondays. I'm sorry, 1 o'clock on Monday. So that, more to the point, on Monday. So that when we come in on Monday to you, we're giving you the most up-to-date information that we have. So the board is getting that information directly from our schools, from our principals. So I have very I have all the confidence in the world to believe in the data that I'm reporting out to you because it's coming right from the principals in our schools. And that again is given every week to us on a weekly basis to John Bassley, so then reports it to me, and then I give it to you, that information. Okay? I just want to clear that up so when anyone's sending emails or anything, that our information is coming from the best source. Our principals in the schools who do a great job at gathering this information. So thank you.
Thanks for clarifying.
So, Dr. Kopicki, I think we need to go back to my request to maybe do a cumulative report that will have the quarantines and the positives numbers and what we've talked about for maybe 4 or 5 weeks back when we first started doing this. I think that'll help because it really gets a little cumbersome trying to remember all these when we're sitting here having this discussion. I think we just proved our own point. If you can take that. Thank you. All right, we are going to move to 14.03, and this is the National School Board Association Connection Program, and we will have our Board Attorney, Jonathan Bogle, to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. At last week's work session, we talked about the September 29th, 2021 letter from the National School Boards Association to President Joe Biden and some of the aftermath and publicity following that. The board asked me to look into a few things, and I've done so, and I want to report back to you that to begin, the board pays the National School Board Association $8,620 a year to be a participant in the National Connection Program of the National School Boards Association. That fee covers July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. That money has been paid for by the school board and the school system. I contacted the National School Board Association and learned that they are getting requests from local school boards all over the country to withdraw their participation from that program and seeking a refund. And the board of directors of the National School Board Association has not yet decided whether they will grant refunds, whether it be a full refund or a prorated refund. But they instructed me that if our board, if you as a board choose to withdraw your participation and seek a refund, they told me who to send the letter and email to make that request for a refund. So I wanted to report to you on that. You as a board also asked me to inquire whether if this board withdrew its participation from that program of the National School Board Association, could the board continue to be a member in good standing of the North Carolina School Boards Association? And the answer to that is yes. I had a communication with the executive director of the North Carolina School Board Association. She assured me that you as a board would remain a member in good standing of the North Carolina School Board Association if you chose to withdraw participation from that National Connection Program of the National School Board Association.
Okay, so I'll start the discussion with Ms. Adcock. Comments or questions?
So we will have everything that we're doing now with the North Carolina School Board Association. We'll have all of the amenities that they present other than just this one national area. Is that right?
Correct.
No, that's all I have.
Ms. Carpenter?
Well, I appreciate you getting this information. Now, personally, I'm ready to take a vote, and I can tell you, I have participated before a couple events, and I know that most of the time was my early with them when we were having unfunded mandates and things like that, and that was helpful. But we get a bigger bang, I can just tell you, from the North Carolina Association. And personally, and I'm just telling you, I think we would be better off to drop this. So when you're ready for a vote, I'm ready to do it.
I have a motion and we will vote on it for sure.
But I can tell you, I just really feel like that we could do more with that $8,000. And but I think that what was done here was just it just does not serve what our board feel, what we do with this, our board, and where we're going with this board. And it was just, that letter was just not us. So thank you very much.
Mr. Furr?
I'd just like to thank you for digging in and getting all that information, which really makes our decision easy.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Walter?
So what again was the cost benefit determination? What benefits are we getting from that $8,000?
The benefits that the board receives today from being a participant in the National Connection Program include the ability to network with other board members across the country. There's literature, and there's not a whole lot more than that.
All right, I'm on the other side of things because I think we ought to be more involved and not let these folks come up with stuff like that we're not aware of. If we do withdraw, I'd like for it to be until new leadership is appointed at the NSBA, but that would be my position.
Ms. Blackwell?
So the letter that was presented to the Biden administration was not just a mistake where they have issued an apology letter. To your point, Mr. Vogel, it took time for them to create this. It was 7-8 pages long. It had data on there that they were pulling, laws that they were trying to quote. So this is, in my opinion, at this point, the NSBA is not anything that I think that we should be supportive of, because they are clearly not supportive of this board in the manner that they were speaking about parents. And so I absolutely think we should withdraw. And like I said last time, I think that we could find better ways to spend $8,000 for our students and our administration. So thank you.
Ms. Sanders?
Sure. I may not agree with everything that the rest of the board is thinking. I think you said it was $8,620. My question is, if we didn't need to be paying this money from the beginning, then why are we paying it? And are we looking at the rest of the budget to see where else we wasting money? The other question would be, or point would be, we tell kids all the time that, it's okay to make a mistake. I'm going to disagree with the other board members. I do think that this was a mistake, no matter how long it took them to look through it. And we're saying as a board, or maybe saying as a board, that it's not okay for people to make mistakes, and we know that that's not the case. So I'd question where else we're wasting money or potentially wasting money at. And then if I understood you correctly, we don't know if we're going to get a refund, so that in essence is truly wasting money. If we've already paid it and we can't get a refund, then I think that would be or legitimize some more discussion around this. But just to say we're throwing away $8,000, I'm not okay with that.
Okay, with that being said, I would ask that the board to inform the National School Boards Association that as a direct result of the National School Board Association's letter dated September the 29th, 2021 to President Joe Biden that stated, among other concerning things, that actions by parents at local school board meetings could be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes, the Cabarrus County Board of Education, number one, completely and immediately withdraws its participation and the participation of Cabarrus County schools in the NSBA's National Connection Program and any other NSBA program. Number two, demands a complete or at least a prorated refund from the NSBA of the $8,620 paid by the board to be a participant in the NSBA's National Connection Program for the 12-month period from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. And number three, will not, going forward, enroll the board or the school district in any NSBA program unless and until the board votes to do otherwise. That is a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Carpenter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ms. Sandage and Mr. Walters as a nay. Ms. Furr, are you good with that? Okay. Okay, board members, that concludes our board business for the evening. We will say thank you to our viewing audience for joining us tonight. We will see you at our work session on December the 6th, Monday of 2021. May I have a motion that the board convene in closed session to consult with an attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-31811A3, and to consider confidential personnel matters pursuant to General Statute 143-31811A6.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Blackwell and a second by Mr. Furr. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And with that, we will say goodnight to our viewing audience.